Hello, welcome to this update. So we now have Category 2 Hurricane Rafael near western Cuba. So it rapidly intensified in the last few hours there, and it even might be a major hurricane before landfall in western Cuba. So this is a very dangerous situation there. Let's see more. So Rafael's forecast to become a major hurricane far reaches western Cuba and the isle of Youth. Hurricane warning is in effect for this region, where life-threatening storm surge, damaging hurricane force winds, and destructive waves are expected. Storm force winds, especially in gusts, are expected in the lower middle Florida Keys later today and tonight. Rafael will bring heavy rain to areas of the Cayman Islands, western Cuba through Thursday. Flash flooding and mudslides are expected in areas of higher terrain, western Cuba. It is too soon to determine what, if any, impacts Rafael could bring portion of the western Gulf Coast. Residents of those areas should regularly monitor for updates in the forecast. So let's see here. So the track there has it as a major hurricane in western Cuba, and the the winds are already affecting parts of central western Cuba. The tropical storm warnings there, the hurricane warnings most of western Cuba, and tropical storm warnings in the Keys there in Florida. So be aware in those areas. And then it'll be a hurricane well into the Gulf there, forecast to go like to the western Gulf, but still a little bit of uncertainty after that. So let's see here in Spanish as well. Se conozca que Rafael se convertirá en un huracán de categoría 3 cuando alcance el oeste de Cuba, la isla de Youth, donde un aviso de huracanes está en efecto. En esta región, donde se espera uma rada ciclónica amenaça a vida e ventos daninhos com força de huracán e olas destructivas. Então, a ver. Espera. Vale. Se esperam vientos de tormenta tropical, especificamente em ráfagas en los cayos de Florida, bajos medianos a partir de hoy y esta noche. Rafael trae áreas de fuertes lluvias a las islas de Caimán y oeste de Cuba hasta el jueves. Se esperan inundaciones repentinas y deslizamientos de tierra en áreas de terreno más alto en el oeste de Cuba. Es demasiado pronto para determinar que, si los hay impactos de Rafael, podrían traer a personas de la costa oeste del Golfo. Los residentes en esta área deben monitorar regularmente las actualizaciones del pronóstico. Entonces, muchísimas precauciones en Cuba, principalmente con las lluvias, deslizamientos de tierra y las ráfagas de viento muy fuertes, así. Principalmente esto, porque sea de categoría 3. Muchas precauciones. Good, so please stay safe there. They have the rainfall potential close to like 12 plus inches, 15 plus inches near western Cuba, like 200 to 300 millimeters in western Cuba there. So please be careful with flooding and landslides in those areas. There's still some isolated in Jamaica, some more in the Cayman Islands, close to 100 millimeters. And yeah, so be careful there and stay safe. Now, let's see, these are the tropical storm force wind probabilities. Of course, in Cuba, there a lot near some slight probabilities near Florida or Louisiana, but still a little bit far to determine, especially in the west, in the western northern Gulf. So yeah, be aware. In the Keys, might have some stronger gusts too. Now the hurricane force winds probabilities, main in Cuba there, those strong winds. What happened here? So yeah, and going into the western Gulf. So be careful. And the 50 knot winds, maybe some, but not really in the Keys, mainly in Cuba, and goes away there. So please stay safe in those areas. They have here the satellites is a very impressive storm now, and that there was even a clearing in the center before. and shows here most models show Western Gulf curving south into Mexico, but some still have Louisiana or something there. So be aware. And now it's a category 2. They do have it quickly as a category 3 there, but not many models. Some models have before Cuba there, but some other models have even after Cuba there, a category 3. But many might reach category 3 now and weaken later. So please be careful there. And some models to the GFS, some go to the northern Gulf and some southern Gulf, but most of them just go west there. And same thing the Canadian ensembles, most of them go towards Louisiana, but some go further south. Let's see here the models. So does show like Western Atlantic. There's Rafael. It goes, so the GFS is going west and Gulf, then kind of curving north later and weakening there. And later does have still a lot of heavy rains Central America and does have another hurricane forming there. And then yeah, so the GFS still some radical ideas. But let's see the zeros Europeans. So there's Rafael. Don't mind the strength because the European still has a tropical storm and it's almost a category 3. So don't look at the strength, but it does have it going there and curving later to the southwestern Gulf and going towards Mexico. There's the Canadian, goes there in Cuba and kind of gets caught into a front there. And then it does have the other system trying to form just north of the Greater Antilles. The European, it has the disturbance there, so heavy rain in the Greater Antilles, but not really forms into anything. And the GFS does have Rafael there, and it has that low pressure there. It kind of a split low pressure, but they might try to form to something just east north of Cuba. But yeah, there's still some time to monitor. There's the icon as Rafael there goes. The icon kind of curves west and gets caught into a front. There's the next disturbance that doesn't show anything crazy developing, but does show some happening there, and maybe a thing or two in the Pacific. And there's like the Neptune still shows like Rafael. This goes, it has like kind of northern Gulf. The Neptune has the other disturbance of approaching there, but not really anything gigantic. So be aware. So there's the H-Dwarf. It does have Rafael there, nice 963 before landfall. That's close to category 3, but just by the look of that tight gradient, it looks like a very strong hurricane. Then it goes there. The H-Dwarf still has strengthening more in the Gulf and then curving there south and it does have strengthening again before southern Mexico there, so we gotta watch that. And there's the other disturbance near the Bahamas, but it doesn't really form into anything that crazy. There's where is it? The halves A for Rafael. What's this man? Here, halves A, Rafael. Here, so this is now, it has a 967, 958 before Cuba. Then it goes there, still kind of hurricane strength, but then it weakens a little bit. It might still go into Mexico as a hurricane. It has the next disturbance there near the Great Antilles. Does 999 there, so it might be close to a tropical storm, but then kind of weaken later. So yeah, there's the halves B, and I'm showing the parent, the larger models, so you can see both the disturbances. So there's it now. Close to major hurricane, then it goes, still strong there in the Gulf and kind of curves down into Mexico. So Mexico might need to watch this, but nothing that crazy like right now, because this forecast can still change. And here's the H1 has 960 now, it's still 960, 959, close to 959, like 960 millibars before Cuba goes there, has weakening a little bit, but then yeah, might approach Mexico or something later. So please stay safe in those areas. Be careful. Just to show you the European ensembles does have this going into the west and southwestern Gulf. The European starting to catch up on some things maybe later in the Caribbean. It does have some things near Central America, Central Caribbean. So we better watch this for later. But nothing crazy yet. Let's focus on Rafael now. That's the important thing. There's the GFS, has Rafael, and the GFS still leaning towards northern Gulf, but some southern Gulf. The GFS is a mass of systems near Central America and the Eastern Caribbean later too. So be aware in those areas. Just a minute while I find something here. Okay, sorry about that. So let's see here. Found it. So this is the GFS. Good. So maybe now let's look at some impacts. So first wing us, but take into account that the European is so weak with this. It still is like a tropical storm or something. So let's maybe see uh, what the official forecast has. First, they have a category 3, so now category 2, 175 km per hour winds. Then they do have all the way to 185 km per hour sustained winds there, and if the sustained winds become like 180 km per hour, the gusts might be close to 290 or even 200, no 209, no 190 kilometers per hour near Cuba, or even close to 200 km per hour gusts near western Cuba. So be aware of that, because the models are, especially the European, are much weaker with these, like it only shows 100 km per hour gusts. It does pick up later close to like 114 108 km per hour gusts in some areas, but this is way weaker than it actually is right now. So be mindful of that. The GFS, it goes there, has a little bit stronger, like 124 125 km per hour gust there. Then it goes into Cuba, 116 km per hour gust in some areas, goes there, and it gets a little bit stronger in the ocean there, and then it goes away. And in the Keys shows all the way to 71 km per gust, close to 44 mile per gust, 45 mile per gust, and the European like 48 mile per gust in the Keys, and all the way to Key Largo, some 37 mile per gusts. So be aware of some gusty winds, some swells, rip currents, and some like some periods of heavy rain, because those storms there, the rain bands, be careful with water spouts and some periods of heavy rain. So be careful there. The rain accumulation from the European does show in Cuba, because the Europeans are so weak with this, but it does show 107 millimeters, but this is too little. I think much more than this will fall. The GFS has in Western Cuba close to 147 millimeters, in Havana close to 109 millimeters, 141 millimeters, so be careful there. But depending on the model, it might be stronger, like more rain. But there's the icon does have like 162 millimeters. This looks more realistic. 161 to 157, 163 millimeters in Havana too, more than 100. So be careful those areas and stay safe. There's some larger population areas there, so stay safe from this. In that peninsula there shows almost 179 millimeters, and near the islands there, so be aware those are like rain, gusty winds could make some dangerous conditions. And the European does have some more near Playa Larga and some areas there, about 150 millimeters, so be careful those areas. And now, so like this will pose like the storm surge, some dangerous waves, because it intensified so rapidly. There'll be some more dangerous waves and some storm surge near western central Cuba there. Maybe a little bit of coastal flooding, and this area starts kind of protected by these islands here, but there might be some large waves than normal too. Maybe a tiny bit of storm surge, but this area here between these islands is kind of protected from the worst of it. But still be careful, strong currents and everything. And the key is there, BR some large waves and currents, and then this goes away there. And be careful, like stronger currents in most of the Gulf later this week and next weekend. So be aware there. Now, let's see very quick some other areas maybe, and then we'll get into some more rainfall. So there's this area still at 30% chance there, might quickly develop into something, but the models are very weak. The models are very weak with that. But be mindful of some heavy rain in the Eastern Caribbean and the Eastern Pacific. We do have a new tropical depression, 14E, so it does show this getting to a tropical storm very quick and then weakening, and an unusual track south. So yeah, but nothing crazy with that. The Central Pacific, still nothing crazy. And yeah, so be aware there in those areas now. rainfall in some other still shows in Costa Rica more than 300, close to like 500 millimeters. So if this happens in Costa Rica, there will be some life-threatening flooding. 500 millimeters, like very dangerous flooding. Considering all the rain that already fell in those areas, plus this might make some very dangerous flooding. But personally, I don't think that with 500 millimeters will fall. I think it might be a little bit less, but better not to take chances because you saw what happened in Spain a few weeks ago. So better stay away from flooding and stay safe. So be careful in those areas. Some heavier downpours and lightning and stuff. Shows more in southern Panama, a little bit heavier, and some other areas there. So be aware. There's the GFS. The GFS is more offshore, the worst, but it does have in western Costa Rica, the Pacific, more than 200, 300 millimeters. So please stay safe there. Shows more in that small peninsula there, more than 300 millimeters. So be careful there, northern Costa Rica, most of those areas. Shows more in southern Panama, close to 249 to like 278 millimeters. So be careful. The GFS is more into Nicaragua, southern Honduras, a little bit heavier downpours as well. So be careful. Does show more than 100 millimeters parts of Nicaragua, and does have some the Pacific of Guatemala, southern Mexico, but not as crazy there. Like the European shows some more in Mexico there, because if this does curve towards Mexico, there'll be some heavy rain there. But before that, might have a thunderstorm or two southwestern Mexico, Pacific of Guatemala, some showers and storms near Belize or the Yucatan, but nothing crazy, very little. Might be more like the northern Yucatan. Let's see. In Jamaica, still shows some like 34, 35 millimeters. Some areas in the Cayman Islands, still 40 or 50 millimeters. Some areas, still be aware of the Cayman Islands, still very close to. But like the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico shows more than 100 millimeters, 116 millimeters. So be careful. Might be some heavier downpours with this disturbance, and some isolated flooding possible, especially eastern Puerto Rico. So be aware. And just in case you are watching from the US there, they have like so 4 inches, close to 5 inches in parts of the Virgin Islands, 4 inches and a half or something. Puerto Rico some 3 to 4 inches. So be careful those areas. Now let's see, in the Eastern Caribbean still we have those waves of showers and storms. Shows more like in some parts of Martinique, close to 80 millimeters next 5 days. Barbados more than 50, 60 millimeters. This is some more St. Vincent and the Grenadines, St. Lucia, and Guadeloupe and those areas there. So be aware, some 60 or more millimeters, more like in Antigua and Barbuda, 60 to 70 millimeters. So especially in the Virgin Islands. And then let's see, some more storms in the Dominican Republic, be aware. Nothing that crazy, but there might be a tropical downpour too, especially in the afternoon and eastern Dominican Republic with this disturbance. And yeah, the GFS next 5 days. It also has in the Caribbean there, like the GFS is all the way to 87 millimeters in Barbados. So this will be some more tropical downpours there. And if you check the links in the description, there's the site for Barbados. They all have some flash flood warnings and watches, and it has some in the Grenadines, some 84 millimeters. The Grenadines, some in Grenada, but nothing that crazy. It shows more Martinique, close to 99 millimeters. So be careful there. Shows more rain there near Saint Lucia and some other areas further south, close to 80 millimeters. In like in Dominica, some 63 millimeters, and it has more in the Virgin Islands too, especially some 82 millimeters near Puerto Rico, some 87. So be aware of those areas. Now, there's the icon too. The icon's very crazy. So it has like 111 millimeters in Barbados. So it's a lot of moisture and heavy rain there. Yes, it has like St. Lucia, 115 millimeters, southern St. Lucia. Martinique, 125 millimeters. Has a lot in the Grenadines there and in St. Vincent. So be careful. Has close to 70 in Grenada, and it does have some in Trinidad and Tobago, especially in Trinidad, some more downpours. But be careful those central islands of the windward islands there, and does show more in like Dominica and Guadeloupe, close to 100 millimeters, and yeah, and the icon does have all the way to 162 millimeters in the Virgin Islands, 168 millimeters, about 120 in Puerto Rico, 150, 120 throughout the Virgin Islands. So please be careful. But the models aren't in much agreement. The GFS and the European look more alike, but the icons like much more. So depend. Uh, one model might be right and another might be wrong. We don't know exactly how it will play out, but just know there the potential for heavy rain, especially like these areas between San Vicente the Grenadines and Guadeloupe, and those areas of the Virgin Islands. So it already shows some blobs of precipitation near the Virgin Islands, Antigua Barbuda and Anguilla in those areas. It shows already some passing showers and storms in the Windward Islands. It shows those downpours continue in the Virgin Islands throughout Thursday, shows Puerto Rico Thursday, some more scattered showers and storms near Barbados, St. Lucia, and those areas Thursday to Friday. Might calm down a little bit Friday morning, but shows more on Friday afternoon. Puerto Rico shows more than late Friday to Saturday. Saturday morning shows a little bit less, but Saturday afternoon shows more scared storms there. So be careful those areas. The GFS is a little bit different. Shows some downpours near Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, especially tomorrow Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic. And the does show like Saturday, some more the Caribbean, and some other areas. The icon has like a lot in the Virgin Islands now, and Thursday in Puerto Rico has more in the Caribbean. The icon is those blobs of heavy precipitation Thursday near the Caribbean Friday, and those areas there. So be aware, be careful with the heavy rain there, and yeah, so be aware of those areas. The satellite here already shows those thunderstorms in the parts of the Virgin Islands and some showers in other areas, so be careful there. And if you are like the mainland US, does show that slight risk in the lower keys for like some tornadoes possible, the marginal risk to southwestern Florida. So be aware of the water spout and tornado potential. A couple of brief tornadoes will possible in the outermost fringes of the circulation of Hurricane Rafael through the city across the Keys and far southwestern Florida peninsula. So be careful there. And also if you're in Cuba and those areas, might be tornadoes in Cuba along those rain bands, the Cayman Islands still. So be careful in those areas too. But what's more concerning in the US is like this flash flooding, because there'll be the moisture surge into Georgia and South Carolina. There'll be like more flooding, not flooding, but like some heavy rain to Georgia, especially in South Carolina. So be careful with some like heavier downpours there. Shows today day one close to like 3 inches, even 4 inches in a spot or two there. She shows more throughout Florida, the Keys, and those areas. So be aware there. And yeah, and tomorrow we don't have anything else in terms of tornado, very high tornado danger in the Gulf, but we do have some severe weather in other parts of the US there. So there's a slight risk in parts of Texas for Thursday and a marginal. So tornado threat just 2% in southeastern New Mexico too, but wind threat 5% and hail threat 15%. So be careful, like northern Mexico and parts of Texas. So let's severe thunderstorms are possible because parts of west central Texas, the greatest threat being Thursday evening night, because parts of Texas, large hail, isolated severe gusts, and tornado too are all possible. So be aware in those areas. And does show here like tomorrow that rain Texas and Oklahoma is more there. The hurricane the Gulf and some rain Florida still shows some in the southeast and more New Mexico, those areas because of the snowfall. Day 3 shows a lot across the central plains, more rain there. Day 4, this goes more like the eastern US, more rain. The day 5, more like the eastern and some systems in the northwest. We'll probably make a winter weather video to talk about the snow and the systems in Canada and the other areas. So stick around for that, especially if you are in New Mexico and Colorado. And then shows more stuff later there in the northwest, and yeah, maybe some fronts later. So day 1 through 7 shows close to 5 inches, 4 inches near Georgia and South Carolina, some parts central US, especially Tennessee, those fronts, shows more than 3, 4 inches in the central plains there. So beware, there's the moderate today in the marginal, but they choose still a slight parts of Georgia, South Carolina, and a marginal for Florida to North Carolina, and a slight in Texas, Oklahoma, those areas. Day 3 still slight in the marginal in the plains. Day 4, this moves further east, and day 5, some more marginals, especially in the Gulf there, and maybe in the Northwest. So be aware in those areas. Now, let's see, there's this weather site for Cuba. It's also the description shows that the hurricane warning is there, so be careful. You can come here for more information too. Now day 3 still shows a margin in Texas for like Friday, so be aware. Isolated severe thunderstorms are possible through early evening Friday across parts of south central to northern Texas, so be aware there. And later, nothing crazy. And we still have the extremely critical fire conditions near Los Angeles and those areas. We'll talk in more detail about this in the winter weather video. They'll talk mostly about the western US in that video, but just in case you don't watch that video, please be careful there with that particular dangerous situation, fire threat. So yeah, this is mainly it, and stay safe. Just to show that the longer term outlook, if I put the accumulation till the 14th, does show the hurricane heads towards Mexico, it likely bring some very high precipitation there. So please monitor this in those areas. Shows more heavy rain in northern Colombia, Venezuela, so some tropical downpours, and some showers and storms in the southern central Bahamas and Turks and Caicos, and eastern Cuba there. So be aware in those areas, and I hope I'm not forgetting anything. And bye.